In this video I'm going to show you how to create a tileable texture from a simple photograph. First, let's find a nice photograph. Go to Google image search and let's create a marble texture. Now you want to make sure that the size of our source image is pretty large. So let's change that to large and look for a nice image we can use. Okay, I like this emperor door texture. Open it up and copy the image. Now go to the Photoshop, create a new image, press OK and paste. If you would save this image now, and use it as a texture in 3D Max, let's just create a simple plane. And try on our texture. Enable show in viewport and assign. Okay, if you use it with 1:1 tiling, it looks okay, but when you increase the tiling, you can see some nasty seams and the texture looks very repeated. It looks more like tiles, not a single marble slab. Now our goal is to create an image that is styleable and doesn't look broken up like this. So let's go back to the Photoshop. Now use the crop tool to crop out the white borders a bit. Like this. Okay, now select all, copy, and let's increase our canvas size. Image canvas size. Okay, change it to relative. And let's get started by increasing the width and height by 100%. Now press Ctrl V to paste the image again. And paste a few more times to cover the whole area. I'm just moving them to the corners. Let's paste one in the center and rotate a bit. Okay. Now select the eraser tool, increase the size and reduce the hardness. Now just delete around the borders of this layer to blend it nicely with the lower layers. Okay. This looks good. I'm selecting all the layers and pressing Ctrl+E to merge them together. Now let's get rid of these seams. And the best tool for that is Clone Stamp tool. Increase the size a bit, increase the hardness a bit. Now the way it works is you press Alt and click on somewhere in the image to pick your source. Let's click here. And as you can see, it copies from here to wherever your cursor is. So you can paint on the seams to close them like this. Pick a new place and keep working on the seams. Here is a seam here. Let's close it up. Just do it randomly for a more natural effect. Okay, you can see some areas are repeating a lot, like this element is here, here, here. Let's change it up a little bit with the clone stamp tool. Let's increase the size a bit, pick from here, and just change it up, like this. Just enough so it looks different. Right. Same here. If there are too many repeating elements in the image, it will be very noticeable if you tile it on the model. Okay. I think this is a good basic starting point. Let's save it again and check in 3D Max. Now the white seams are gone. There are still seams and it still seems very repeating. So let's get rid of the seams. To do that, we will use the offset filter. Okay, check the image size. It's about 2000 by 2000 pixels. So go to filter, other, and offset. And let's offset it by roughly 1000 pixels. What this does is brings the seams from the outer edges to the center of the image. You can see them quite clearly now. Over here. Over here. Get rid of them like we did before with the clone stamp tool. Maybe a smaller size. Just paint them over. Okay, looks like we got rid of the seams. At least I can't see any. Maybe here. Now I can see a few more repeating elements like this, here, here, and here. Let's change them up a bit. Okay, save it now. Go back to the max. Okay, so there are no more seams and the texture is styling, but it's still pretty noticeable that it's styled. So let's make it larger. Select all, copy, and increase by 100% again. Just like before, move them to corners. And merge together. Now to break up the tiling, we can use a lasso tool. Just select some random areas. Copy, paste, move to a different place and rotate. Try to not cross the outer lines of the image. Keep it inside. If there is a noticeable border, you can go around it with the eraser tool. For this sort of busy marble texture, it will not be too noticeable. Okay, merge together. And let's use the clone stamp tool again. Okay. Let's save. Since we made the image larger, we don't need to tile it as much. So instead of 4x4, we can go and use 2x2. So unless you zoom out very much, it looks pretty good. If you reduce the tiling to 1:1, it looks very good. So this is how you create a simple tileable texture. I'm going to show another example. So it's a great resource for source images. It also has some tiled, ready-to-use textures. I recommend you check it out. Now I've found this texture which I want to make tileable. I'm going to demonstrate on the medium size. Open it up in the Photoshop. Now the main thing we want to do is make it tileable vertically. So use the offset filter, change the right horizontal offset to 0, and adjust the vertical offset so you can see the seam. Okay, so here it is. You can notice the seam. To fix it, you just need to copy some of the boards, some of the planks, like this. I use the rectangular selection tool, copy, paste, and move over the seam. Use the eraser tool to blend the lower edge smoothly, and it blends nicely to the board below it. Great. Okay, now this knot is exactly the same, so let's use the clone stamp tool to get rid of it. And some adjustments here as well, just so it doesn't look the same. Perfect. Now this texture should be tileable vertically. To To make it tileable horizontally, I'm gonna merge everything together and use the offset filter. Change the vertical offset to 0 and increase the horizontal offset. Okay. Now use the rectangular selection tool, select this area here, copy, paste, and move over the seam. Now free transform it like this. And just use the erase tool. This covers up the seam nicely. Okay. Let's clone this area here. And the texture should be pretty tileable. Let's save it. Now go to 3D Max. Create a large plane. And let's try on our texture. Wrong image. Here it is. This is without tiling. Let's increase the tiling. It is noticeable that it is styled, but you cannot see the seams anymore. You can make the tiling less obvious by increasing the texture size. Copy everything. Increase by another 100%. Well, for this sort of geometric texture with many horizontal repeating planks, basically I want to copy 2 or 3 of them, paste, move to a different position, and delete the edges. Paste again. Try to match the layers below it. Okay, like this. Well, you can work on it a bit more to get rid of these repeating parts. But since we made the texture bigger, we don't need to tile it as much. We made the tiling in Photoshop. Okay, so that's the basic idea behind making the textures tileable. And we're going to be using this a lot in creating our custom materials. So try to experiment a bit, create your own tileable textures, just get a feel for it.